Freeze gets the call, and it's like he makes a couple decent saves. He makes good saves. And all of a sudden they're like, oh man, he should get the start against Bayern and da-da-da-da-da and this and that. It's like, there's no fucking happy medium.
No.
People are goddamn psychotic. Chill the fuck out. He had a good game, and he made saves that you would expect from a guy who's making a living as a professional goalkeeper. Chill the fuck out, man. It's like, yeah, he had a good game. He got a blank sheet. Fair dues. That doesn't make him your number one keeper all the time, man. Jesus.
Yeah, I've got to admit, I was quite surprised at how well he played, and I think it's difficult for people because what they will do is they will judge someone on their last performance. It's like you're only as good as your last game, and the last time we saw De Vries in any capacity in Celtic as a Celtic keeper, he didn't play very well. He just didn't, and Brendan Rodgers brought him in for a reason. He knows that he's got quality as a keeper. He's got the ability. He's a good shot stopper, and you can see that. Some of the saves he made were really good. So again, it's all about how much you trust the manager and his decisions, and I think a lot of it is just, people like to just. You like to play as a manager. I would have done this. I would have done that. Or you should have done this. And you should have done that. At the end of the day, Brendan's the man who goes there every day. He's at training. He's doing the one-on-ones. We know how good he is at man management. So it's if you place your faith in the manager, then you've got to say, well, De Vries is still at the club and he's there for a reason. And I think he showed that. And good for him, man. Good for him, because if he comes in again, I think a lot of people will feel quite good about it, and that's good for the player, because even at his age and he's more experienced, it does help knowing that the support are on your side. So hats off to him for that performance. He's done himself proud. So yeah, good on him.
It was actually Nottingham Forest that he was at for
Forest,
3 years.
That was it.
He came to Celtic.
That was at Forest. Yeah.
And ironically enough, he and I almost share a birthday too, because he'll be turning 37 2 days before New Year's Eve. So on the 29th of December, he will be a 37-year-old backup keeper.
Same age as you, Yahmpy.
Oh, Christ, I wish. 37 was in my rearview mirror a while back, brother.
When you say you wish, if someone says 37, you say I wish, then that's when you know you're ancient, man.
I got the fucking needs of a 77-year-old man.
I know, mate. I remember when I was 37, I was like, oh, man, I'm fucking getting there now. I'm just like, 37 would be great, man. But anyway, as long as you feel, man, I look fantastic for my age. That's what I'm going to say, man. I'm in good shape. But no, well done.
I'm going to tell you, everything goes to shit. Everything really starts going to shit once you hit 40. Stuff fucking starts hurting for no reason. You're like, what the fuck? I ain't doing nothing. My goddamn knee's swollen like a basketball. But I woke up. I sat up in bed and my knee swelled up. It's like, what the fuck just happened to me? That's 40s for you, brother.
Yeah, you're in trouble when the doctor puts a mandatory bum search on you.
It's like, what the fuck?
It's like, right, so you'll be scheduled for the finger up the bum then, and you're like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, so, sorry, you're in that age range. You check your prostate, and you're like, great, that's great. Can you not just do a test? They're like, well, yes, we can do the blood test, but we much prefer to just go ahead. So bend over.
If it had to come to that, just let me die.
I was at my doctor's. A few weeks ago just because I changed doctors, because the last doctor they're terrible. So I was like, right, let's change doctors. Went up and she was asking me about my family history and all that. I was telling her, and she's like, right, so you'll be on for the full suite of blood testing. And I was like, oh no. I'm one of those people when I get sent for tests, I'm just like, oh fuck, I'm too busy. I don't have time for tests. So me and the missus have got them. They're still sitting there, but I better go and get them done. But
the 40 years old is the Mason Dixon line of like your Davil. That's exactly what it is, man. You have officially transitioned out of being a fucking degenerate youth, and now you're just your da. That's it, man.
I don't know who.
And that's where I'm at, dude.
Who's Mason Dixon?
You don't know who Mason Dixon is? Just it was a line designating the North and the South for the Civil War.
Was that?
Really? There's a little history lesson for you. You learn something new every day.
That's it, man.
And it's all right.
That's it. This is health and history on the Armchair Ultras. health and history facts.
Welcome to the WebMD pod.
But anyway, big Chris Polkins the freestyle well, man. Good on him, man. And again, after the Dundee game, everyone was like, oh, blah blah blah, and dipping, Celtic are not hammering teams 3-4 now. And like the reality is that when you're putting people in different positions and you've got guys out injured and you're still winning games, or you're drawn in games that previously you could have easily lost, and in seasons gone by under different managers that would have been 2 losses, or we would have dropped more points. As it happens, we're still unbeaten, still on an unbeaten domestic run, and that, I think that just has to sink into some people. We are still unbeaten. You know what I mean? We are still going for a second treble. So I think people just need some. I'm not talking about everybody. Obviously, most people know what's going on and they're more than happy. They're delighted at what's happening. But it's just, I think some of the stuff I've been hearing on the press and social media has been like, Celtic are, looking vulnerable and stuff like that. It's like, well, I don't know. This happens to every team. You can't go every single game for 2 seasons beating every team domestically for 3-4 now. So for me, it was good. I'm glad we came through those games. I'm glad that we were still unbeaten, and then we move on to the Bayern game, and we were going to do a podcast before the Bayern game, and I'm glad that we didn't, because it gave us the chance to watch it and digest all the stuff beforehand. And I think I prefer doing podcasts after the Bayern game, mainly because I can lie about getting my prediction results correct. So we'll be talking about the gift that I was given, man. And before the Bayern game, I don't know what you put down as a score, but this is no joke. I had in my head 3-0 to Bayern. I don't know about you. Not joking.
I knew that it was going to be bad. I didn't know how bad it was going to be. I hoped that we were going to hang in there. Coming off the Anderlecht match and everything, like our past European, adventure. You figure going away, Bayern's form hadn't been fucking spectacular. They had the whole thing with Ancelotti and everything, and it's like, who knows? Maybe we steal a point, something, anything can happen. But it was. If you're living in fucking prediction? Reality,
we're only talking about prediction.
You probably think we're going to get pumped.
What was your prediction? What was it? What was the score you had in your head? Because I play the game now because we do the podcast. What was the score? What did you think was going to be the score?
Like 4-2 or 5-2 them. I thought we were going to get fucking just.
So you thought we'd sneak a goal or two?
A goal or two, yeah. Right, I thought they could be had for 1 or 2.
Right.
Just what you call Sinky had the one that was pulled back and everything, and it was
yeah.
Well, that was one of them I would have liked to have had.
See,
Tierney had the shot on goal that just brushed the outside of the post and everything.
Yeah.
So they're just a different fucking animal, man. They really are.
Yeah. I mean, from the way that I looked at it before the game, it was interesting. I was listening to Brendan Rodgers talking. They did an interview with him before the game, and he was talking about the Anderlecht performance. I don't know if you picked up on this, but Brendan Rodgers said, in the Anderlecht game we played okay. It was good enough to get a good result, right?
So it was better than a good result. With a great result.
But in his own words, he said we played okay. It was an okay performance. We did good enough to get a good result. So he wasn't
minimizing it. I got you.
Right. So, and I was like, right, because that was my thoughts. Everybody after the Anderlecht game was quite rightly so celebrating, and as you do, 3-0 win away in the Champions League is fantastic. But if you look at the game itself and who we played against, we weren't playing out of our skin. We played a good game. And leading into the Bayern game with everything that was going on, in terms of the Dundee game, and the Hibs, and as well as obviously injuries with Brown being out, Armstrong being out, and Simonovic, and the fact that we're moving people into positions that they're maybe not used to without mentioning names, and we'll get into the Bayern lineup in a minute. For me, I looked at that Bayern game and I thought, we're not going to win this, and I don't think we'll get a draw. We're going to get beat. I can't see us scoring, and mainly because of the fact that our defence is not as strong as it could. When you're going into play Bayern in that stadium, you want your defence to be as strong as it can be, the best it can be, and in terms of the individuals in the position, and in terms of how long they've been playing together, and that just wasn't the case. So I just didn't see us getting a win before that game because of all those factors. And as the game panned out, well, you can talk about the game and how it panned out, but pretty much that's what happened. First half and second half were slightly different, but I'll let you kind of go through the game if you'd like. But yeah.
Well, again, possession, we weren't too bad. I mean, we're still, we just didn't have a lot to offer in attack in the first half, man. And it's like, they're fucking loaded, man. And it's just, we got Gamboa on the right side, and I'm not going to scapegoat the kid. I love him for Costa Rica and everything. He's one of the Ticos and all that. But holy shit, he was getting turned around like he was on a fucking top, dude. And it's just, he couldn't handle that, any of the speed on that side or anything. He looked like he was really, really struggling. And, I saw someone refer back to when he played in the, the 7-1 match against Barca and everything. And it's just, he doesn't get enough games out there. He played in the Dundee match, and he looked great. He's running up the pitch and everything, and he's taking shots at goal. But Dundee's a different animal than Bayern, man. And it was just,
yep.
He was put in a tough spot, man.
He was up against Kingsley Coman, who is quite a young talent on that side, and he's got a lot of pace. He formerly played at, I think Coman was playing. He's got a
lot of pace, like a fucking Japanese fucking bullet train.
I'm pretty sure Kingsley Coman came from where did he come? I'm pretty sure he came from the Italian leagues. I'm just going to sorry for the keyboard. I've got a really noisy keyboard, so I apologise. I'm pretty sure that he came from Juve. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he came from Juve. I remember seeing him at Juve. Very fast. Gamboa was never going to be able to handle him. Gamboa is a player that doesn't get game time, as you quite rightly just pointed out. And here we're getting into part of the problem, not the whole problem. Now, we've been talking about the central defence. We've been talking about defensive positions and how. And before the season started, I brought up the fact that the key thing for us going into Europe is that our defence is strong, because you're going to get tested. And we saw how Brendan Rodgers talked about the game. He wants to go out and play his own game. He said that before the game. He said, "I want to play the way we want to play. I'm not going to sit in with a on a 4-5, 5-4-1 or a 4-5-1 or whatever defensive formation you want to throw out there. I'm not going to do that. They want to move the ball quickly. They want to try and press, and they want to try and play on the counter or whatever tactic. It's not going to be sitting in. You're going to be moving the ball quickly and trying to use up the pace in the team, which is great, because you've got Roberts, you've got Sinclair, you've got Griffiths, who's great his hold up play. But when you're playing in Europe, with all that done, your defence is still going to get tested. And as we saw with Gamboa, he wasn't up to it. As we saw in other positions, Lustig did not do well in that central position. He's not a central defender.
No, I mean, you can get away with him as a central defender against some clubs. You could get away with them there against Anderlecht if you would have liked. But again, Bayern's one of the top clubs in the world. It's just not going to work. It's going to look sloppy. I mean, let's face it, Robin was running circles around KT there for a little bit too, man. And it's just, the fact is they're a great fucking club.
Yeah.
Deal with it, man. I mean, it is what it is. They had 26 shots on goal. 26 shots on goal. And that's despite 56% possession of the ball. I mean, that's a fucking peppering. And some assholes are sitting there saying, "Oh, Gordon, shit, he's this, he's that, he's everything else." Like, give me a fucking break, dude.
Yeah, I found that incredible. People criticising Craig Gordon's performance during that game. I had someone tweeting me saying, he palmed a shot out straight out to someone for to take the shot. I'm sorry, Craig Gordon made a reflex save there that was fantastic. And Celtic you could see the way Bayern were working off the ball. You could see the way that they were tackling. I mean, the way that Bayern were just taking the ball off some of our players was the very, very strong, big, physical team who worked really hard off the ball. this, you're hardly getting any space. They're making you. I mean, the way that we had to move the ball so quickly just to keep it, and you can see our players had a split second to move the ball on. We were under a lot of pressure in that game. They had a decent, not a huge amount of possession, but when they did have it, we were under a lot of pressure. And to criticise Craig Gordon, I don't understand what people are doing watching Craig Gordon during that game and criticising him. Yeah, sure, okay, and he might have made a couple of mistakes during the game, but I'm sorry.